All right, I got this on dirt last night. I tried to clean it up so you can't tell I had it on dirt last night, but I had the Epic 8 on dirt last night. So I'm going to try to give a really quick 5-minute or less first ride impressions and what I thought about the Epic 8 platform. I'm not going to do a comparison yet to my prior Epic. This is just, okay, I got it out, I rode it, pedaled it on dirt, hit some single track. What did I think? Not a industry guy, not sponsored. I do race at local levels. I've raced Leadville, Breck Epic, things like that, but I'm not a threat for winning those. This is just a average guy, bought a bike, and what do I think? Is it worth the money? Some of that stuff. Too soon to answer all of that, probably. But last night, I am the head coach for a NICA team. We had practice last night, so my riding was kind of dictated by managing practice and doing what the kids needed at practice last night. So that's what I got. I got about 8 miles of riding last night. We were at a local bike park that is all kind of man-made, man-designed, flowy stuff. We did some work in a skills area where they got some rocks set into the trails on purpose. You bash through the rocks. We did some little drops, things like that, and rode some wooden features, and we rode mostly just flowy single track. So the first thing that I notice compared to the Epic is just how plush it is. So the Sid Lux Ultimate and Sid Ultimate, just crazy plush compared to the Brain suspension. And so you just sit on it, and the small bump compliance is really incredible. I did set sag first, so I'm at about 25% on the fork, 30% on the rear, and then I just went ahead and used the Specialized suspension calculator to set rebound on the fork and the shock, and went with it. So that's the first thing that just stood out, is just amazing small bump compliance, which seemed to make it so there was just really good grip. It just hooked up and went. I rode a segment last night that I have ridden 20 times and had a PR by 20-ish seconds. It's a 4.5 minute segment. So, I have a decent number of efforts on that, probably lots of times inhibited by traffic, things like that. And so can't say for sure, but it's a technical, kind of typical cross-country style segment that would, I climbed, I descended, it's level at times, just flipping, kind of ripping through a flowy single track. And the bike felt awesome at that. I mean, just awesome. What does stand out is there is a little more pedal bob than the regular Epic. And I think that'd be pretty expected given that I did not hook up the twist lock. Maybe I should do it just so I can give a comparison of what this suspension is like compared to Flight Attendant. I had intended to not even bother setting up any of that, just because this will only be on here for a few weeks, and then I should have Flight Attendant and go with it. But so if you're comparing this to an Epic Evo, which I have ridden the last generation Epic Evo a couple times, it doesn't have a lockout, and it this suspension ends up similar to the prior Epic Evo, and I think it actually feels pretty similar just riding this in open mode to the last Epic Evo. Now, given that this also has the 3 position setup, I feel like you get kind of the benefits of the Epic Evo of the last generation, but you should be able to lock it out and have the pedaling efficiency of the last Epic. That's what they're claiming, and I don't see a reason not to believe that, because it's still, even in open mode, pedaled really well. Can I pick up a little bit of bob at the rear end? Yes, I can. Is it bad? No. I just sold a Santa Cruz Tallboy, the 2020 model, so it's like the Tallboy 3, I think, that had a 130 millimeter pike fork and then 120 millimeter VPP rear suspension. I called that my Moab bike. Super plush, super soft, and I felt like rode like a bigger bike. So every time we'd go down to Moab, that's what I took. And that bike, I feel like this would definitely replace that. This could be almost as soft as that Tallboy, but yet pedals better. So that's first impressions of just that it pedals really well for being fully open, and it is soft. I don't notice the extra wheelbase. I was nervous about that. There's an extra 3 centimeters of wheelbase. I haven't had it in the very tightest switchbacks that I tend to ride, but in the stuff I was riding, I never noticed the extra wheelbase length, and everything just felt really good, natural, got right on it and rode. Now, that is the exact same, those are the tires and wheels off of my last bike, those are the brake rotors off my last bike, it's the drivetrain off my last bike, it's the bars and grips off my last bike, so saddle and dropper off the last bike. The only thing new is the frame and the brakes, and it's still even same SRAM level 4 piston that I've got on the front of the other bike. So, really, this was just a test of the frame, fork, shock, and everything felt really good. The platform feels good. So the next step will be to ride it some more, get it in some tighter switchbacks. I already know where I'm going for that, just because it's a couple switchbacks that give me grief, even on my good days. So we'll try that out, see if this bike goes around those tight switchbacks as well with that longer wheelbase, and hopefully I still love it. But the first impressions are really good. Little sneak preview of some of the comparison. My son got to ride this in kind of his configuration for the first time last night, and he said, "Wow, Dad, it's pretty amazing." So, this one has tough competition. The regular Epic is a really good bike. My son was pretty blown away, though he's super annoyed he doesn't have a dropper yet. For a couple of reasons, we didn't take the dropper off of his last bike. I didn't want to have to figure out how to route a cable yet, and didn't want to pull a bottom bracket. So that's what he thought. So this Epic 8 has tough competition because my son was pretty blown away by getting to ride the other Epic. That ended up more than 5 minutes, but here we are. I think gives you some idea that this may be worth it.